What is good? We're back, and we've got week 9 wide receiver must-sit starts for every matchup. We got tiers, we got rankings, how this is going to work. We got the model spitting out projections and rankings. We're going to go off of some of those, and then me and Chev have rankings that we've kind of put together on our side of things that we're going to kind of compare and contrast. Going to go through every matchup, tell you who to sit, who to start. Chev, how you doing?
Hey, listen, man, I am really excited to get into these wide receiver matchups because there's a whole lot of money to be made, and we're going to tell you where to go to make it.
That's right. Now, we're doing this on Tuesday night. A lot of moving parts here, so some information will change. Some guys who might not play will play, and vice versa. So you got to stay up to date kind of on all that, but this is all, one moving organism such as fantasy football. So, you ready to get into it?
Hell yeah, brother.
Let's do it. Eagles, Browns, Jets, Bucks on a bye. First matchup, we've got Bears at Bengals. So, on the Bears side, what are we thinking?
I mean, obviously, Rome Odunze is locked into your lineup. There's just no reason why we would be doing something other than that. The only problem that we have is that Rome Odunze in the last few weeks, they've just started treating him like he's regular again. We got the breakout. We got a re-breakout after 2 quiet weeks, one of which was a touchdown call back. But, I mean, he's dropped down to 25% targets per route run. But this is a great matchup. Like, there's no reason to be afraid. Tyler Johnson looked like a reincarnation of prime Torrey Holt last week against the Bengals. So I have no fear about playing Rome Odunze, playing DJ Moore. Like, this is wheels up. This is kind of a get right spot for the Bears passing offense. So they don't get pressure and they allow a lot of production to receivers. This is a smorgasbord for fantasy production.
Yeah, and bench anybody not named those 2 guys from the wide receiver position, right?
Oh, yeah.
Rome Odunze, model-wise, coming in at wide receiver 11 in Tier 2. For us, we have him at wide receiver 12. So right along the same lines, DJ Moore, he's going to be down there quite a little bit more, but wide receiver 31 for the model. So still some love for DJ Moore in that regard. On the other side, we have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, start. Both top 24 guys. Joe Flacco has thrown a little juice back in Cincinnati, and Yoshi Voss, throw him in a river. Get rid of him. Don't want to play that guy. He can't catch. All right, moving on. We got Saints, Rams. Saints going down, new quarterback. I think we can still trust 2 guys, nobody else, right?
I have no reason to believe. I have no reason to trust anybody not named Rashid Shaheed or Chris Olave. And we're coming up on the trade deadline, and there's getting more and more steam. There's more and more steam that Rashid Shaheed, with the expiring contract, could be on the move. But in this game, for this exercise, 1,000%, I'm locked in. I'm starting Shaheed if I have to. I'm starting Chris Olave without question. The expected fantasy points king, I'm locked in. We're starting those guys. I'm not super excited about it, but there's worse options that could be made here. So yeah, I'm good with it. I'm not super excited. They have a 15.5 implied point total.
Right. But there's probably 15.5 implied targets for Chris Olave. So you can at least bank on 6 of those, maybe getting to him. Model likes him at RB 14. And we have him at wide receiver 14. And we have him at our wide receiver 15 on the Chev Casey combined rankings side of things. So Rashid Shaheed also, a fairly good start. Model likes him at 28. We've got him down here a little bit further. Looking for Shaheed. 28. Oh. There we go. Bang. Yeah. All right. On the other side, Puka Nacua, if healthy and playing, smash him. Devontae Adams, smash him. Jordan Whittington, bench everybody else. as far as the LA Rams go. All right, moving on. We've got Minnesota versus the Detroit Lions in a fun division showdown, but we're quarterbackless. We're in the ether right now. We don't know what the hell is going on with the Purple People Eaters in Minnesota. Could Sam Darnold please walk through that door? Or Daniel Jones? Can we please have Daniel Jones back? Can we have somebody? Sam Fran, can we get Mac Jones? Turn this thing around. I don't know what's going on. Well, how are we feeling about the top two pass catchers? Got to play them, right?
You have to play them. I mean, the Detroit Lions play a ton of man coverage, which we could get some explosive plays. I mean, they've done a pretty good job. They did a pretty good job in the matchup last year in week 18 or 17 with, containing this passing attack, which is why Sam Darnold is no longer in a Vikings uniform. But, I mean, Justin Jefferson, if he's active, you're playing him. Jordan Addison's been basically 17 points a game since he came back from suspension. You're playing him as well. Desperation, Jalen Naylor, only in really deep best ball leagues do you play him. So, 8.5 point underdogs, 19.5 point implied point total. I like the run out that we could get here, but also there's a chance that it's just a big fat nothing burger like the Saints were on national TV last week.
Yeah, the one saving grace might be that the back end of Detroit is banged up, and didn't seem to matter last time we saw them. The other guys had played great, but Justin Jefferson, Models got him at wide receiver 8 and Shakir at wide receiver 24. So 2 top 24 guys in that matchup. Don't really want to play anybody else. On the other side, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown locked into a for sure start, and Jameson Williams has been kind of floating down the river and trying to, find a nice little spot to tie off at and say, hey, we can fish here. So how do we feel about Jameson Williams playing this week? You got him locked in as a starter, or he seems like he's at fringe level right now?
This is just the saving grace that I'm going to hang my hat on for hope for JMO this week is, one, we've only gotten one boom performance out of, 8 possible weeks so far. If we're looking at, and he's wide receiver 51, do I think that there's a chance that he finishes closer to like wide receiver 30 or wide receiver 25 than I do think that he finishes as wide receiver 51? Now, again, we're talking about him, the change in the role. Like, basically the offensive coordinator just fooled all of us, through a smoke screen, and we just have gotten very limited usage of JMO. So I'm fine playing him this week. We've watched the Vikings in back-to-back weeks give up massive, massive passing touchdowns. So that's how we're going to get home. I think over the course of the next, 10 weeks, we're going to get at least 3 JMO boom performances, and we'll feel at least a little bit better about where he's at, where we're at with him than where he is right now.
Yeah, coming out of the bye here, maybe they can get it right. I think he's, wide receiver 3, flex play kind of situation. Model has him at 46. We have him at 40. So anybody else, not so much. As Lee Corso would say, not so fast.
So fast, Mike.
Jameson Williams, I think, could, from the bye, we want to get him a little bit more involved. We want to get him some touches in this game. So I could see wide receiver 3 flex play. So moving on, we got Arizona at Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys here. Zona coming off the bye. Kyler playing? How are we feeling about the wide receiving core over here? Probably really not great outside of anybody named Marvin Harrison Jr., right?
Yeah, there's zero reason to have confidence other than the opponent that they're playing this week. I think this just ends up being a monster game for Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, you sprinkle in some Zonovan Bam Knight, and you just call it a day. I think this could be a big day for the trio. I mean, Kyler Murray going back to his hometown, if he is playing, if he does end up playing this week, going back to his hometown of Dallas. I think this could be a lightning in a bottle matchup where he actually plays well and all of the fantasy options get home with Kyler Murray. I mean, we've seen how good it looks with Jacoby Brissett. So hopefully he's seen that, stop watching and playing Call of Duty so damn much while he was off, and we can get a focused, locked-in Kyler and give us some top 5 outcomes for these awesome fantasy options. Now, on the Dallas side, talk to me now.
Well, on the Arizona side, real quick, I don't think I really even care who's playing quarterback necessarily. I'm fine with firing up Marv. I don't really want to fire up anybody else. The model has Marv at wide receiver 39. We've got Marv all the way up at wide receiver 16. So we're giving Marv some love this week on a nice coming off the bye, getting right, getting tight. On the other side, it's CeeDee Lamb, it's George Pickens, it's nobody else. Dak's great. Bounce back after a bummer of a performance against the Denver Broncos there. Start your CD, start your George Pickens. They're both in the top 10 of the model. Holler at you boys. All right. We've got Seattle at the Commanders. I mean, JSN might be the most high-end wide receiver in football right now, right? I mean, smash him and nobody else for the most part, right? Or can we get Cooper Kupp a little love or not so much?
Not really. No, thank you. I'm good. I don't want this is not the scenario that I want to be chasing. I want to be chasing the points with Cooper Kupp potentially. Now, if Jayden Daniels is back, I can talk myself into this 1,000%. I will talk myself into this, but as of right now, today, it's just JSN. That's it. Like he's got the glow. You know, he's got the aura. Like he's doing all the things. He's winning outside. He's winning everywhere. Mm-hmm. And he's basically, his worst game's been 4 for 79 pretty much. So you're locking him in and you're locking the door behind you and you live with the results.
And you're saying Cooper Kupp would be more like, you would be more likely to play if Jayden Daniels was playing because you feel more confident in the Commanders scoring more points, right? That's we get an environment where we've got to pump more offensive output into a game with Jayden Daniels. We just saw what Marcus Mariota did, granted against a tough Chiefs defense, but hell, the Seahawks defense is number 2 in scoring defense at 18.8 points a game. So like good offense can beat good defense, but I need the guy who is the trigger man for all that to be there for this to happen. Yeah. The model does have Cooper Kupp at about 49. We've got him a good bit lower than that. So a little more love for Cooper Kupp that way. On the other side, listen, if Debo's playing, don't really care who the quarterback is, you can fire him up. If Terry's playing, don't really care who the quarterback is, you can fire him up. Outside of that, if both those guys, Debo seems fine, Terry might be more likely to miss. You could throw the Hail Mary on the Luke McCaffreys of the world or the Chris Moores of the world or the Jalen Lanes of the world. You got an option. It's Russian roulette there. Take your pick. Don't really want to play any of them if I don't have to. But, Terry's health kind of ping pongs some of those guys' relevancy, right? So you just got to kind of monitor that through there. So Luke says Terry seems like he says he's okay. So hopefully we can get going. We saw a little bit of Terry back in action, and oh boy, was it nice to see. But spent some time on the bench on the back half of that game as well. So monitor that moving forward. He's so damn good. It's a bummer we haven't got to see him this year for very long. So we got marquee matchup of the week coming up here: Kansas City at Buffalo. On the Kansas City side, Chev, who we firing up?
I mean, we're definitely firing up Rashee Rice. I mean, we've got a Buffalo team that plays a ton of zone coverage. We know, as you guys all may be familiar, that Rashee Rice is literally the mold breaker for reception perception, hashtag not a sponsor, against zone coverage. That's what Buffalo does. He's been getting peppered with targets. He's picked up right where he left off, when Mahomes torpedoed his knee, fresh off the suspension. He's been killing it. So he's locked in the lineup. Xavier Worthy could be locked into the lineup. Could be.
Yeah.
It's not consistent enough, and they're not using him for the deep downfield shots. So it's just kind of hit or miss. He's basically like a supercharged Shakir, but without the target volume right now.
Yeah, no, I don't mind firing up Worthy. The model's got him at wide receiver 30. We've got him at, let's see here, wide receiver 33. Rashee Rice is a smash start. He's a wide receiver 1. He's in tier 1. He's a top 6 wide receiver. Absolutely. Hollywood, if you need him, I guess maybe if you break, I'd play him over any of those Washington receivers we mentioned on the back half of things, right? But break glass in case of emergency situation.
Would you play him over Matthew Golden this week?
That's a tough question. I probably would give the slot to Golden, but Watson being back, I don't know. That's a coin flip. I'll go with my guy Hollywood and a shootout here potentially.
Yeah, you see the vision now.
Yeah,
but we're slowly but surely. I'm becoming a never Matthew Golden guy, and I didn't want to be here.
Okay. On the Buffalo side, we've got the Shakirs and the Colemans, potentially Josh Palmer if he's healthy. There's just outside of Shakir right now, I don't know who I really want to play here. The model likes Shakir at wide receiver 19. We've got Shakir at wide receiver 21. So fire up your Shakir. I don't mind that at all. But anybody else, I don't think I really want to play him. I could play Keon Coleman if I have to. He'd be like a flex wide receiver 3 in a desperation. Model's got him at wide receiver 47. Disgusting. How are you feeling about the Buffalo pass catchers?
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. The only guy that you can feel good about potentially is Khalil Shakir, just because they're going to give him these short area targets you can count on. Keon Coleman not separating, doing all the things, just all the Keon Coleman doubters, shout out to y'all. It appears that you were right. Okay. Because we're just not getting anything useful out of Keon Coleman, whether that's schematic or him not really just taking the step forward that they had alluded to. It's just not great, man. So the only guy that you can play right now with confidence is Shakir, and that's more of a floor than a ceiling. I say that because, he scored the 65-yard touchdown or whatever it was last week.
Yeah. All right. We're moving on to Denver Texans. Denver side's, becoming quite a mashup of confusion and what do you do? But all of them have a role-ish and could be playable. How are we feeling about the Denver side?
I love it. Love it. I mean, we can't really, there's just nothing. I mean, we're closing the gap. So Troy Franklin has basically closed the gap in targets per route run over the last 4 weeks. I mean, yards per route run, yards per target. He's doing all the things, and he's got 3 touchdowns since week 5. So we might be on the verge of a breakout, and we're just not paying attention close enough. I mean, he's only 33% rostered right now, so check your waivers. Waivers will have run by the time you see this. So just check to make sure he didn't slip through the cracks on you. He's got 18 targets over the last 2 weeks. I'm fully confident in playing him. That doesn't mean anything negative for Courtland Sutton. I'm a big Courtland Sutton guy, but there's another option in town now. We're done with the Evan Ingram thing, I think. So they might be consolidating the target share more towards, Courtland Sutton and Troy Franklin. But we don't know because Dallas is not a litmus test for anyone.
Yeah. It's a good point. I'll fire Troy Franklin up as my wide receiver kind of 3 situation or a flex play. Sutton still in the model's got him at 12 and Franklin at wide receiver 40. I don't mind playing either one of them. Hell, I think you could probably even squeeze both of them in your lineup on the same team if you had to. Mims as well. If you get kickoff return yardage, Mims is also very interesting. Mims can have big plays. I feel a lot more confident about Franklin right now, kind of moving forward. And like you said, Evan Ingram does feel like the odd man out right now, and that's a bummer because I had big hopes for Evan Ingram in this offense and what could be. So on the Texans side of things, Nico should be back. That's a must start. Christian Kirk probably still out. The rest of the Texans receivers, I don't feel super confident about playing any which one of them. Knoll and Hutchinson, they can cannibalize each other, and TDs are kind of all over the place. This Denver defense can get after, the pass rusher at an incredible rate, the passer at an incredible rate here. And what we saw last week with Houston was, oh man, if CJ Stroud has some time and an offensive line that can block, because the pass rush on the other team has lost 56 different guys and can't get to the quarterback, he can chop shit up. So, I think we got a glimpse of what CJ Stroud can be if he can get a little bit of time and some protection. That ain't happening this week, right? So I think it's going to be a bit of a tough sailing right this week for Houston. Going to need to use Woody Marks in those checkdowns and those flats and get some balls up to Nico. And at this point, I would love to see them, especially if Kirk's going to be out for even more time, get Knoll more involved in some quick shit underneath, right? But he's not quite on the field enough just yet for me to want to heavily rely on him just right now, right?
So that's the weird thing. We talked about this before as we were working through and putting the tiers together for this. He was on the field for basically 40% of the snaps. He got 6 targets. Braxton Berrios had a chest injury of some sort. Nico Collins is going to be back. There's no Patrick Surtain. The Broncos have allowed, only the Dallas Cowboys have allowed more passing plays of 40 plus yards than the Dallas Cowboys. So while CJ Stroud is going to be under duress, the Broncos are currently on pace to set the sack record. I think you could find some fantasy goodness here. If you're dumpster diving with Jaylen Noel, I think that's that slot role, being able to get the ball out of your hands quick. I think that's going to pay some dividends this week, especially if they're done fucking around with Braxton Berrios.
Yes. I would agree. I think that's a good synopsis there. I think they need to get the ball to Jaylen Knoll quicker out of the slot there. Hutchinson's playing a lot more, had some good targets last week, had the touchdown. Those guys would kind of be the two that if I needed an option, that's who I'd be looking at between Hutchinson and Knoll. But Knoll seems to make a lot more sense potentially in this matchup. Even being limited on the field when he is out there, 7 and 6 targets respectively the last 2 weeks. So I would lean Knoll a little bit here if I need one, but Hutchinson might be able to give me something as well. The model kind of feels about the same on both of those guys. They likes Kirk the most. I would too if Kirk was playing and healthy, but it's just not the case right now. So let's keep it moving. Let's go down. What's that?
I said, hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah. We got Colts, Steelers. We got Colts going to be on the road here, trying to keep it at 1 loss against Pittsburgh. What do we do with this receiving corps? Michael Pittman, absolute smash, and then opposite that, what do we do? Alec Pierce and Josh Downs.
I saw an interesting stat that the Steelers had allowed the last 4 passers to pass for their season high in passing yardage. So this game, it's a 50.5 point over under. This game is my favorite chance to shoot out this week. Now, we get goodness on both sides because we get the fantasy production allowed. The Steelers spent all that money that seems futile now. They lost their starting safety. They're giving up passing production left, right, and center because they don't switch up their coverages very often or disguise very well. So this environment is a smash for a guy like Michael Pittman. Not only is it a smash for him, but then you could probably find some fantasy goodness in a guy like Alec Pierce, even Josh Downs, as a slot defender. He killed the Steelers last year. And, this is a bit of a different defense, but yeah, I think this is wheels up for every single Colts receiver that's going to receive a lion's share of the snaps this week, with Michael Pittman being the obvious leader of the clubhouse there.
Yeah, model obviously likes Pittman a lot. He's got him in the top 15, but we've got Downs and Pierce ranked at 44 and 45. I think the model's a little lower on him. It has Pierce at 53 and Downs at 44. We just saw somebody like Christian Watson come in, have a nice day back. And maybe Alec Pierce Spider-Man meme with Christian Watson a little bit better, but definitely a more of a man. He's 40 kind of guy, and Alec Pierce than Watson is. I think so. I'm with you. I could be fine with that, and I think the Colts can put up some points. They've done it pretty much every week, and all those guys have been fairly useful when they're out on the field. On the other side, for me, it's pretty much DK Metcalf and nobody else. But if it turns into a track meet, I think Calvin Austin could have some flex appeal potentially. I want it to be Roman Wilson. We saw it be Roman Wilson in this last game. But if I had to play one outside of DK, it would be Calvin Austin.
To that point, I mean, the Colts are allowing the most fantasy points to wide receivers this year. On top of that, they've allowed the second most plays of 20+ yards, 20 completions of 20+ yards in the entire NFL, and they're not really getting after the quarterback like that. So this could be one of those games where Aaron Rodgers just cocks back and corks it deep. It could go to DK Metcalf. It could go to Calvin Austin. It could be Roman Wilson. All these guys, I mean, if you have to play the tertiary options of a Calvin Austin, of a guy like, Roman Wilson, this is the matchup to do it in. It's a 50.5 point over under. Roman Wilson coming off the career high 4 for 74 and 1. Calvin Austin had some strong performances before he got hurt. I think that this is a matchup where you can definitely play both.
Oh, okay. All right. I like it. All right. We got Jacksonville at Vegas. We got Brian Thomas not quite living up to the hype, and Trav coming off his best game as a pro. How you see this Jacksonville passing game going in a nice spot here, traveling to Vegas?
Oh, I absolutely love it. I mean, this is where we could potentially get a get right spot here. They're not really the Jaguars. I mean, the Raiders aren't getting pressure at a high enough rate to really disrupt anything that Trevor Lawrence could potentially have going on. And I think that the Jaguars, while Brian Thomas Jr. is working through the yips or whatever he's got going on, are going to start giving us more Travis Hunter. And that is we could get what everybody was calling and clamoring for early in the season. We might actually get to build on that. Wide receivers coming off the bye week do tend to get a bump. So I like Trav this week. I like Brian Thomas this week. I still have Brian Thomas ahead in the rankings. Would it surprise me at all if Travis Hunter is the primary target this week as they try to figure out how to use him more effectively? Not at all.
Yeah, I'm with you. Model has Brian Thomas at wide receiver 15. It's a little lower on Travis. I think 37, if I'm correct. Yeah, 37 there for him. So basically Travis and Brian Thomas, not really messing with anybody else. On the other side, it's pretty much just Trey Tucker for me because I don't think Jacoby Myers is going to play. They brought in Lockett. I'm all set on pretty much anything until otherwise proven. I'll play Trey Tucker. I don't really want to play anybody else. I guess Thornton, if you're in a pickle, but I'm good. I just want to play Tucker and keep it moving.
Yeah, that's the simplest way to answer this. Brock Bowers is likely going to be back. He's the alpha in the offense. You can play Trey Tucker as a home run threat, but it's boom or bust. He's been the safer version of J-Mo than J-Mo this year. So
yeah, right. All right, we got Chargers at Tennessee. Well, I think he could pretty much fire up all the pass catchers for the Chargers.
Let's keep this real simple and quick, just so I don't torture myself. You're going to play all the receivers. If this game somehow stays close, Justin Herbert and one of these receivers is going to go for all-time records. But I don't think it's going to stay close for very long. So just pick one and don't get mad at us when we told you, hey, this is going to get out of hand. It's a great matchup, but it could get out of hand, which means that we might not get home with all three guys. Might just be one guy who gets his early.
But you got to play them all, like Pokemon.
Got to play them all. Don't be upset when it doesn't go your way.
On the flip side, I think honestly at this point, I'm only interested wide receiver wise as playing Chimere DK here. And that's pretty much it for me. And then kick return yardage, kind of like a Mim situation. He's even better, man. He's got a nice safe floor in there.
Yeah, this was a process miss because I just completely dismissed Chim DK. And now that he's a full-time player, it just so happens that he's awesome.
I'm
planning on going
back. He looks great.
Yeah. I'm going to go back and I'm probably going to try to throw up on a Twitter X like a thread of all his targets and just how he's separating, how he's moving. He's a dynamic. He's already had 2 kick return touchdowns, kick and punt return touchdowns. So he's a great player that understands space. And now, he's being used. He runs a 4.34 and he's a bigger guy at 6'1", 196 pounds. You can fire him up this week and you could do much worse.
I fired him up the last 2 weeks, and now it is a kick return, punt return league. And like him and like Malik Washington and the Mimses of the world, they all get nice little floor bumps. But like last week, he was 17, 18 points, and it was nice, man. He's been great. He's
175 yards return yards last week.
Yeah, he's got some good chemistry with only bit of chemistry really going with Cam Ward right now. So that's the really only guy I'm feeling in that matchup. We got Falcons at the New England Patriots. Drake London, kind of day-to-day situation. Michael Penix, maybe a little unclear here. And then Mooney, I don't want to play anybody else. I'm okay with playing Mooney. If Drake plays, I'm playing him. What else you got on this matchup?
This has been wildly, just so much more disappointing than I could ever imagine. I mean, I give Drake London a nickname and he just starts acting like pre-2025 Michael Pittman out here. This is absolutely ridiculous. But if he is active, you have to play him. This is not the best matchup because he's going to be shadowed by Christian Gonzalez and his quarterback situation is shaky at best. But he's the only party that I am interested in, even remotely, in this matchup.
Yeah. And I wanted to go back because I just want to give Chim DK, we had him at wide receiver 42 in our rankings. The model doesn't quite love him as much as we do just yet. So just going backwards a little there. But yeah, I'm with you on that. And then on the other side, I mean, you got to play Diggs. And at this point, you got to play Kayshon Boutte. He's just, he's scoring touchdowns. He's giving him another outlet for Drake May. Diggs, model likes Diggs quite a bit. He's got Diggs at wide receiver 17. And then Kayshon Boutte is coming in at wide receiver 43. We've got Boutte, same spot, wide receiver 43, and Diggs around the same spot as well. So other than that, I'm probably not playing anybody else there.
Yeah. Submit, log out.
Submit and log out. All right. Niners at Giants. Just gross wide receiver lineups right now for both teams of just milk cartons of missing people and injured guys, and it's just misfit toys and all sorts of things. So San Fran, maybe they get Brock and Pearsall back. That would be cool. If so, regardless of who the quarterback is, if Mac or whatever's, or if Mac or Purdy are there, I mean, you're firing up Pearsall. If Jennings could get his hands right and whatever and be more consistent, you could play him. I'm a lot less inclined. And then Kendrick Bourne, I guess so. I don't know, man. I'm very conflicted. It is the Giants. I don't know. What are you doing with this receiving core?
I mean, this is the matchup. This is the matchup where you want to fire up, the Jawan Jennings of the world. He's been awesome versus man coverage. And I think that's going to continue. If Ricky Pearsall plays, that kind of changes everything. He becomes the primary target, but Jawan Jennings is the guy that I would be targeting in this matchup. I know Kendrick Bourne had some success early on, but Jawan Jennings seems to be healing from the cracked ribs and the, amidst
feels
him
like there's a
walking
gain
uphill,
coming somewhere.
Yeah. Amidst him walking uphill both ways to school, playing through cracked ribs and self-diagnosed CTE, he's going to ball out if there's no Ricky Pearsall. If Ricky Pearsall's back, it's Slick Rick the ruler, and I will accept no other questions at this time.
Yeah, I like that. I like the Jennings play there. I don't mind if you need wide receiver play thrown and Bourne in there and a flex or something in a pinch. But on the other side, Wan'Dale, you got to play him at this point. There's no excuses. And then I actually kind of like Darius Slayton as a Hail Mary flex, or if you really needed a wide receiver 3 because of some injuries or whatever. I think he had a ridiculous play call back that shouldn't have been. has been a solid receiver when healthy and targeted for the most part.
Yes. So if he's going to get real targets, which it looked like Jackson Dart really was trying to make a concerted effort to go after Darius Slayton on deep attempts, and Jackson Dart being one of the most, productive deep passers in the collegiate game this past year, it's good to see him just take shots outside the numbers deep down the field. We should have had a 70+ yard touchdown or 65, whatever it was. But we should have had that. If they're going to hunt those types of opportunities, Darius Slayton needs to be added in all formats, because especially best ball, because that's a guy that's going to randomly spike and give you 20 plus points out of nowhere. But you could definitely flex him this week. I'd feel okay with that.
Yeah, or just get him on the squad if he's available and out there. And the Niners, like we talked about in that Houston game, they're going to have the Giants will have opportunities to get deep balls out, right? They're going to have a couple seconds to get back there and let a play develop and get it down there. So Slayton, could be in line for a big day. Hyatt could have a splash play in that regard too, but Wan'Dale and Slayton, only two guys I'm really interested in firing up.
Absolutely.
Wan'Dale, of course, and then Slayton more in, hey, what kind of a situation do I have brewing here? But I think he could be a splashy, hey, I need something kind of play. All right, Carolina at Green Bay. What are we thinking on the Carolina side here? We got the red rifle maybe firing it up again.
Built to ass. Oh, sorry. This could be. So this is interesting because I've been looking at this. I've been looking at, all the Teterow McMillan stats that I could get my hands on. And, the Packers playing so much too high, middle of the field, close coverage. Like, this is a horrible matchup for him. He's been dominant versus man and almost invisible, almost less than 1 yard per route run versus zone this year. So this is not a great matchup for him. This is not a great matchup for any of the wide receivers. I'm still not taking him out of my lineup because I do believe that he is a unique talent. And if they're going to force feed him and there's going to be a ton of garbage time, we can still get there. But there's no strategic or, advanced analytic reason to believe that this could be a boom week other than saying that boy good.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. And, I don't necessarily want to fire any other Panthers receiver up for the most part. Right.
Right.
I did want to go back real quick and just, Model loves Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receiver 20 on the week. Didn't give you that, and he's very high up there. So I wanted to just quickly go back and touch on that. Teterow McMillan comes in at wide receiver 21 with the Model in tier 4. And then Leggett and nobody else really getting too much love throughout with the rest of that. I'm just trying to find Leggett here, and he's all the way down here at 55. So 55. All right. On the other side, we got the Packers. We got Romeo Doubs. We've got Matthew Golden, and we've got Christian Watson reemerging into something. And you've kind of stated already, hey, I don't really want to play Golden if I don't have to. The Model has him at 48, so just outside of right at the end of wide receiver 44. And then Romeo Doubs comes in at 42 with the Model, and then Christian Watson not quite rebounding onto the Model just yet. Actually, here wide receiver 64, but I like him quite a bit more than that. Right, I would rather play Watson than Golden, I think, coming into this week.
Yeah, 4 for 85. He's clearly got some sort. He's clearly healthy again, and that he has some sort of chemistry with Jordan Love. So. Yeah, I'm playing Christian Watson over Matthew Golden this week. I'm playing Romeo Doubs over Matthew Golden this week. Mm-hmm. The Panthers play a ton of cover 3 and cover 4. This is going to be a smorgasbord for the Packers. For the Packers wide receivers, and this could be an all-time spot for Tucker Kraft. So just keep your eyes peeled. But all that to say, I'm not playing Matthew Golden, not even if there's a fire.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll certainly start Romeo Doubs. The other two guys, I would start Christian Watson if I had to. I'd probably bench everybody else. So, all right, Baltimore at Miami. We got Zay Flowers. We've got Bateman. We got Nuke. Yeah, what are we doing with this start-sit situation in Baltimore?
You got to play Zay Flowers. That's it.
Yeah. Model likes him at wide receiver 29. We've got him bumped up a little bit more than that. I believe we've got Flowers at wide receiver 30, so actually one below. So we're kind of in lockstep there. I'm agreeing with you. I really wouldn't do much else. I mean, maybe you could play Bateman in a pinch because it's the Dolphins, but I don't really want to do anything else. On the Dolphins side, I'm firing up Jaylen Waddle. Model kind of low on Waddle, 34. We've got them numbers juiced up on Waddle. We got them up there at 17. So we've got some love on Waddle's name, some respect on it. Little low for the model situation for Waddle. And then again, like I stated with Malik Washington, if you get punt or kick return yards, I think you can fire him up as like your wide receiver 3 flex play. There's some floor there. I think they got to get him more involved in what's going on. I'm not dying to start him if that's not the scenario, though.
Yes, I think that they're slowly but surely trying to get him into more situations and make him more comfortable in the offense. And I think that that's gonna work. It's gonna work. I mean, he scored a touchdown last week. You know, Tua was playing out of his mind. If that is a trend and not a blip on the radar, we could have something here. Malik Washington could be a player. So, yeah, I'd be okay playing him in this matchup, but you know, understand that it's not a ceiling outcome because Jaylen Waddle and Devon Achane are the functions of this offense. And then everything else that happens is just kind of what's left over. So,
right. Yeah, no, I like Malik Washington as a player a lot.
Same.
You know, they were great last week on turf in there. Now they're going to go be at home playing Baltimore, who's maybe getting some stuff back together. This is the Thursday night game, I believe.
Yes, it is.
So we'll kind of see where Lamar is. I don't know if he's playing or not playing. You know, Snoop Huntley was really good last week. It's the best we've seen him play in a long time. The model has Malik Washington at 45, so some startability there. Over Jameson Williams, they have Malik Washington for the model projection here. So
wow.
Yeah, just one spot, but right there. So
okay. Right.
Tier 7. So, all right. That's your sit starts, tiers, rankings for week 9. Redraft, best ball, however you want to frame it. Mostly redraft. Chev, anything else? Take us out of here.
Hey, man. You know the drill. As I always leave you, there's ball watchers and ball knowers. Assign yourselves accordingly. And go download the app in the Google Play Store and in the App Store. Thanks again.
Yeah. Hit that League Champ app. You could have worn the hat the whole time.
I know. I didn't want to wear a hat today. I got a fresh cut.
Oh, look at you. All right. We'll catch you next week.